All right, good morning, everybody. We are going to talk about anaerobic respiration today. The difference between anaerobic and aerobic respiration. Aerobic is with oxygen and anaerobic is without oxygen. I'm going to explain the process and steps of each, and throughout this process, it's going to answer the big question on why we need oxygen. So first off, we're going to start with the aerobic respiration. That's with oxygen. It has 4 steps. It starts in the glycolysis stage. The second step is intermediate reaction. Then it goes to the Krebs cycle, or known as the lactic acid cycle. And then the last portion is the electron transport. To begin this, we have to know that 1 glycose equals 32 ATP. Our body needs to have ATP to use the energy, so we have to make the glucose into ATP. And to start that, we'll start in the glycolysis stage. The glycolysis stage starts with the glucose, and it goes through this process. It takes NAD and NADH, and then it goes to ADP to ATP, and it does that 2 times, ending in 2 pyruvates. With all this first process, we end with 2 ATP. Like I said before, we need 36 to 38 ATP for cellular respiration. So we'll go to our next process, intermediate reaction. Intermediate reaction takes the 2 pyruvates. It drops some CO2 and it changes the NAD to NADH, ending in 2 acetate COAs, which equals 2 ATPs. So we have 2 ATPs in the glycolysis and 2 in the intermediate. That's only 4, and we need 36 to 38. So then we go to the Krebs cycle. The Krebs cycle, also known as the citric acid cycle, it goes through a process where it takes the acetate CO to 2 carbons, and it releases some CO2s and NADH and NADs, and it does that 4 times, ending in 2 ATPs. So that's 2 ATPs in the glycolysis, 2 in the intermediate, and 2 in the Krebs cycle. That's not enough ATPs, so we'll take those and we'll go to the electron transport, where it filters through and it takes the NADs to the NADH to the NADs, and it filters through to O2, and it keeps doing that, filters through this process, ending in 32 ATP, which equals our 36 to 38 ATPs we're needing for anaerobic respiration. So that's with oxygen. Without oxygen is the anaerobic respiration. I can move that a little closer so you can see my process. We start as the same with aerobic respiration. It starts in the glycolysis stage, and it goes through, and it takes the NAD to the NADH, and then it does that to the NAD to NATP, and it does that twice to do the 2 pyruvates, which we did in the first step in the anaerobic or the aerobic respiration. But like I said before, it's without oxygen, so it can't go much further. It takes the 2 NADHs to the NADs, and it makes 2 lactic acids. And lactic acids, it only makes 2. And without any more oxygen, we can't go any further into that process. So with only 2 ATPs, it's not even close to our 36 to 38 ATPs we need, so that results in poor muscle contraction. So I've compared anaerobic and aerobic respiration, list the steps of both, and with those steps, you should have understood that without oxygen, the most important thing we need from oxygen, why we need oxygen, is for the cells to have energy. Without energy, the cells cannot perform the rest of their tasks. And I believe that's it. Thank you.